I don't know about you, but I'm excited about this series that we're doing. It's been challenging. I know even today when we're starting to look at blood covenants, and I know this was really Larry's heart. Larry really enjoys speaking on this, and I was like, fantastic, Larry, you go ahead, you speak on it. I don't know much about it. Like this whole thing about cutting up animals and walking in their blood. How does that make sense, right? How does that really dive us into the presence of God? But it's unbelievable. The more that we study it, the more that we understand it, the more that we really see that there is beauty in this practice. There is beauty in what has happened in this covenant with Abraham, with God. I just want to start off with, have you ever wanted something so bad that you would just give up anything for it? What is it? If you ever wanted something so bad you'd just give up anything for it? Pardon? Stanley Cup in Toronto. That's a true miracle. That would definitely mean that God has shown up. Yep. God's presence. Very cool. Yep. Your dad. His cat. Cat, dad, it's all good. Yeah, definitely. My daughters, too, the same thing. We lost our cat. I think we'll use that as a sermon analogy one time years ago, a little over a year ago. And I remember literally begging God for that cat to come back. And of course it did after I bought a new cat. But now they're like best friends, you know. You couldn't see the house without them now. Nikki and JJ, they're awesome. Anybody else wanted something so bad? Do anything for it. Yeah. Right on, Jordan. Yeah. And it's come to fruition. You're here. You got to see them? Things are good? Awesome. That's awesome. Yep. You wanted this woman 40 years ago, and you got her. Awesome. Where is Sharon? I don't see her. Yeah, right up there, right on. Fantastic. Good job. See, now I can't use that one. All right? Yeah. Oh, very cool. And it wasn't 40 years ago, was it? Yeah. Not quite. Well, we're talking about a guy in the scriptures, Abraham, that longed for something very special and dear to his heart. And I remember this when Becky and I remember going to a Promise Keeper event, PK. God speaks weird at PK events. It's kind of interesting how God can speak through different events in your life, right? And I remember coming home from PK and going to my wife, we're going to have a child. Right? And she's like, what? No, we're not. I think I would know. I'm like, no, God's told me. We need to have a child. We need to have a child. And I was like, this is awesome. Okay. So she was like, all right. Yeah. And then I remember praying and begging God for a girl. I saw something very special with my dad and my sister, I think, growing up. And I've seen it in different shows and different things about a daddy's little girl. I don't know. Anybody here have a daughter and get that? Do you get that feeling? There's something special. Like, it's not that sons suck or something. No, sons are good. Sons are great. All right? Sons are fantastic. All you men, you rock. Good job. You're a son. But there's something about a girl that I just longed for. I just within my heart, I begged God for a girl. I just begged him for a girl. And I'll probably be sorry. I've been dealing with teenagers for 16 years. I think, we'll see how my own ones become good, right? But yeah. I remember just longing for a daughter and just that burning desire within my heart. And then God blessed me with this beautiful daughter, Madison, the most clingy, desiring affection in any way, right? Madison, when she goes off to school, wants to come up and kiss you 4 times in front of all of her friends and give you a big hug. She's 11 years old, right? And she still longs for touch. She just longs to be held. You was seeing her this morning, just standing there beside me, and she snuggles in, and unless you hold her tight, she wants to be snuggled right in. There's something about touch with her which God just like, you know what, Jeff? You want a girl? I'm going to give you a girl that you can just love on and love on and love on. And then I remember praying for a second one, and then we had Eden, and Eden's completely the different opposite, right? Eden, it's time to go to school. Bye, Dad. Gone, right? She just doesn't give any. They'll be up on the screen as well. Okay, so verse 1 to 3. After this, the word of the Lord came to Abram in a vision. Do not be afraid, Abram. I am your shield, your very great reward. But Abram said, O sovereign Lord, what can you give me, since I remain childless, and the one who will inherit my estate is Eliezer of Damascus? And Abram said, you have given me no children, so a servant in my household will be my heir. See, Abraham is an amazing guy. He just won a battle in chapter 14. He's got so much going for him, right? He's sort of like the UFC. Anybody seen UFC on TV? The Ultimate Fighting Champion? Okay, so Abraham is like this, right? There's all these kings going after this, right? They're getting on top of the hill, and he wins. And he gets the plunders, the spoils. He's now extremely wealthy. And I don't know about you, but if I had won against all the kings around me, I'd be feeling a little full of myself. I think my head would be a little bit inflated. Don't you think? Wouldn't you feel a little cocky? Wouldn't you? I'd be like, yeah, strutting my stuff. I'm the man, right? Yeah, my guys, we took them down. And with only 318 men, we rock. I'm telling you, I'd be talking smack, showing off my stuff. It'd be wild. But we see here that Abraham is not confident when he comes into God's presence, is he? Right? When Abraham is in front of God's presence, God says, do not be afraid. But what's Abraham really afraid of? There's lots of different things here, right? Just being in God's presence, seeing this vision. This is huge for him. But then also, you hear his heart in verse 2, right? That he has no child. He has no son. And that is what Abraham is so concerned of, that he's dying for a son. This is a big deal in those days. Having a child in those days was like seen as God's direct blessing on your life. If you didn't have a son, it was like the world could see that you didn't have a blessing on your life. Psalm 127:3 says this, sons are a heritage from the Lord, children a reward from him. Like arrows in the hands of a warrior are sons born in one's youth. Blessed is the man whose quiver is full of them. That's just wild, eh? Blessed is the man whose quiver is full of them. I have a quiver of sons. This is wild. So if you don't have children, especially sons, then God must not be blessing your life. He is not rewarding you. Isn't this so much human nature? So much of human nature is to never be satisfied with what God's given us. Right? We have so much, but yet there's still that other thing we desire. We have so much, but yet God, if you just gave me, right, instead of look at the spoils, look at God and how you've touched my life, look at how you've blessed me. But there's just so much in our human nature and our fallenness that says to God, I'm not satisfied. And Abraham is afraid that he will have to leave his estate to his servants, Eliezer of Damascus. And it was custom of that if a man did not have a son, he could adopt a servant as his heir. Verse 4 then goes on to say, then the word of the Lord came to him, this man will not be your heir, but a son coming from your own body will be your heir. He took him outside and said, look up the heavens and count the stars. If indeed you can count them, then he said to him, so shall your offspring be. Abraham believed the Lord, and he credited it to him as righteousness. So God addresses Abraham's concern. He promises Abraham a son, a descendant. In fact, God doesn't just say, I'm going to give you one son, I'm going to give